Welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. Big shout outs and thank yous to all of these amazing people that make this show possible. We like to have fun here. We are a big group of people who loves positivity. One thing that brings me positivity is watching the show Survivor. I love it very much. I do a lot of other kinds of broadcasts here. I do book reviews, I'm a yoga teacher, and we play games, all sorts of fun stuff. But some of us love Survivor, and we like to talk about it, and during the Survivor seasons, I do recaps of the episodes. And while I'm watching the episodes, I take notes, like a complete geek, usually about 2 pages of notes. So, this is a big season. If you guys... Yes, Bradley! Exactly! If you guys don't know, this is season 40 of Survivor. It's the 20th year anniversary of this show being on the air. Amazing track record and runtime for a reality show like this. So really, really exciting season. Everyone on this season has won a previous season, which means they've all won $1 million from the show Survivor. So they've won $1 million. Some of them have won $2 million. So Sandra has won twice. She's the only person in the history of Survivor to have won twice. Let me give her a special shout out here. She is right here, Sandra Diaz-Twine. The only person to have won 2 times before. And we also have a married couple on the show, Rob and Amber, who have each won separate seasons. So he's won $1 million and she's won $1 million. So between the two of them, they've won $2 million from the show Survivor. So on the season that Amber won, the two of them actually made it to the final 2, and then she ended up winning. So really impressive stuff. They had just met on that season, and they fell in love on that season. It was a really fun season to watch. I recommend you guys checking it out. But yeah, so really exciting season if you guys don't know. Really, really, really good for fans of the show. Hillary, first comment to the broadcast. They're not all idiot sandwiches. Finally, they're not idiot sandwiches. It's so exciting. Hi, Emily. Katie, well, he watched it with me, so he already knows. Yeah, I just blocked my boyfriend on all social media because I was dared to do so because I reached 100,000 super hearts last night. No, Simon. And they bought a bunch of Hello Kitty stuff. Maybe, I don't know. Perhaps they did, perhaps they didn't. They do have 4 daughters, I believe, so they might have bought Hello Kitty stuff for their kids. Anyway, this episode is episode 5. It's called The Buddy System on Steroids, and we'll talk about what that means in a minute. So it started out with a recap, a little kind of like picking up where we left off from last week where Tyson was voted off. And Tyson actually gave his fire token to Nick. And Nick was talking about how he was kind of surprised by that, and it made him want to work with Tyson in the future, and maybe he'll get that opportunity if Tyson wins his way back into the game from Edge of Extinction, which he has a chance of doing. I felt pretty confident in Natalie up until I was worried about Ethan. Then I realized that Natalie is a CrossFit trainer, which I didn't realize before, so that girl is in amazing physical shape. Now, Tyson's very tall, so depending on what the challenge is where they win their way back in, will kind of, that may or may not give him an advantage. I still think Natalie has a pretty strong chance because she has the most fire tokens in the game. She can buy an advantage for that challenge to get back into the game, so she still has a pretty good chance of winning, and I'm hoping that she does because I love her and I don't want to see her go home. Hey, Jerry. Rob's rope-a-dope move. Oh, no, whoa, Sari, no, I'm not talking to you. Sorry, guys. So, hi, Testa, how are you? Boo, Survivor. Does she record this for YouTube? I'm live on YouTube, so I'm live on YouTube and on Periscope both right now. Thammer, where's your name? This is for people who have contributed on the website. The link's in the profile if you want to get your name on here. And if you do monthly support, you get into the private Periscope group too. Monthly recurring. So you just click the word monthly or click the word one time if you want to contribute once or monthly. There's a combination of the two up here. So like SJ Broker is monthly, Dave is monthly, I think Love Rush is one time, Anonymous was one time, Johnny Heavens is monthly, Deve was one time, so it's kind of a mixture here. But this is just everyone who's supported over the last 30 days. Dub loves Survivor. You're just saying that? I feel like you're just saying that. Do you really love Survivor? All right. Then we went into a very heart-wrenching, really touching little moment here. So I follow a lot of these people on Twitter, and I kind of track them a little bit, especially Yul, because Yul is who I want to win this season. And he was talking about his friend Jonathan Penner, who has played Survivor at least 2 or 3 times in the past. And one time he had a loved one's visit from his wife, so we actually did get to see his wife Stacy on a previous season of Survivor. Well, Jonathan and Yul are good friends. They've stayed good friends, and really is, according to Yul, really his only friend from the show Survivor that he actually stays in touch with and hangs out with on a regular basis. So before last night's episode, I had been watching on Twitter, and I saw Yul post a video of Jonathan Penner playing with Yul's 2 daughters. And it was really funny. It was like a game of tag where the wall was safety, and it was really, really cute, and I encourage you guys to check that out. It's on Yul Kwan's Twitter page. Really cute stuff, and I was like, oh, that's cool that they're still friends. I didn't know that. That's cool. And Yul was talking about how much he loves Jonathan, and he's just like the best guy, and you know, he just loves him. Then on last night's episode, he was talking about the same thing, but then he started talking about Jonathan's wife, Stacy, who now has been diagnosed, I believe he said in the past year, and I'm not sure when this season was filmed, but sometime in the past couple of years, that she was diagnosed with ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, which is the same condition that Stephen Hawking had that left him bound to a power wheelchair. So she has lost pretty much all control of her body with the exception of her eyes. So he was talking about that. He was getting very emotional. He was crying. Sarah gave him a hug. Wendell was rubbing him on the back. So him, Sarah, and Wendell were having this chat about this, and it was very kind of heart-wrenching. Then, right before they went to commercial, there was actually a clip of Jonathan and his wife Stacy, and she's in the wheelchair, and she had something in her mouth, which I assume is there to keep her from choking on her own saliva. I'm not totally sure. Helps her to breathe. I'm not really sure what it was. But, I mean, she ran out to see him last time he was on Survivor, give him a big hug, seemed totally healthy, totally functioning, and to see how quickly things can change is scary, and it reminds you to savor. If you're able-bodied, if you can move, if you can walk, if you can run and jump and hug and touch your loved ones and can speak, do that. Enjoy what you have. Realize that there's so much to be grateful for, and even these little things that we take for granted are just so valuable, and we would miss them so much if we did not have them. So she's fully dependent, full care, nurses, and Jonathan taking care of her around the clock. So it must be extremely difficult, obviously, for her and for him and for anyone in their family. So it's about $1,000 for the last 30 days, Thammer. I just happened to check it right before this broadcast, so I happen to know that number. I think it was like $1,001 or something like that. So they were, Survivor has an ALS. I should have written the link down. It's like survivor.com/ALS something. I believe if you just look up like Survivor ALS, you'll find the foundation. So Survivor does this. They have a cancer research foundation as well, which ties back into this season. So let me pull up the cast again here. So Yul is who I was talking about. He's the one who's friends with Jonathan Penner. Wendell was kind of rubbing his back and comforting him. And where's Sarah? Oh, Sarah's right there. And Sarah gave him a hug, and it was really kind of cute to see them all connecting over something like that outside of the game, And then Ethan, who went to Edge of Extinction about 2 weeks ago, he had struggled with cancer twice before in his life. So he won Survivor early on. I think it was season 3, Africa. So he's actually the person on this season who won Survivor longest ago. So he's the person who's gone the longest without playing Survivor. He's never played again. He played season 3, won, and now he's back playing a totally different game. Now there's idols and advantages and lots of strategy, and loyalty isn't as valuable as it used to be, and people that are playing this game, where they've all won before, are very good at the game. Some of them are super fans, never missed an episode, really intense stuff. So he had been diagnosed with cancer. He went into remission, and then his cancer came back. When his cancer came back, Survivor had already started a cancer foundation, a cancer research organization, where people can contribute, and they do research to try to help to prevent and treat cancer and cure cancer. So what's really interesting, so they had started this because of Ethan and also another previous Survivor player who died from cancer. So what's really cool about this was that Survivor had a hand in funding the research into a treatment. I don't know if it was chemo. I assume like some type of chemo drug that ultimately ended up putting Ethan back into remission. And I believe he's been in remission, if I remember correctly, from 2012. So 8 years now that he has been cancer-free. in a way, in a part, thanks to the show of Survivor. So first he wins $1 million, he makes a bunch of great friends, then his cancer is cured, or I don't know what you call it if it's not, like, he's in remission, right? He doesn't have cancer right now. He doesn't have any, like, active malignancies in his body, thanks to something that Survivor helped to fund. So it's really, like, fundamentally changed this guy's life in such an amazing way. And now he's back here, and he uses cancer as a metaphor and an analogy for a lot of the struggles he has on the island, where he says, he'll be doing something really hard, and he's like, just remember that you thought you were going to die. Like, you didn't know if you were going to live. You didn't know that you were ever going to be able to play this game again. You've come so far. Like, this is hard, but you've been through worse. So that's pretty cool stuff, how Survivor kind of goes outside of just this game and this reality show, where they actually do charitable type events like that. So I wanted to give some time and space to that for ALS and Stacy Penner. All right. So then back to the game. They split up the tribes. So this is pretty common in the show Survivor. They will split the tribes from, initially there's 2 tribes when you start out, and then they split into 3 tribes. So that's what happened last night. It was very exciting to see who was going to land in what tribe. We knew this was going to be happening all week. It was fun to finally see it happen. All right, bye Emily, have a good time at work. Make sure I didn't miss any comments. Oh, Candy Cane, hi. I'm good. How are you? Yes, we do stand Ethan, but I felt like Ethan didn't play an amazing game. I think he aligned with the wrong type of people, and that ultimately burned him. He never looked for an idol without clues before. Yeah, he was like, with like 4 clues. Aw, thanks, Thamra. I appreciate that. Yeah, I go live every single day, 7 days a week for 3 hours a day. So I'm glad you value it. I'm glad you guys support. I do work really hard to try to bring some positivity out there to the airwaves of the internet every single day, and I have for over 3 years in a row. Drop your buffs. Yeah, so Rob expressed, here, let me use the cast here for some of this, so some of you guys who aren't great with names can kind of remember who's who. You probably know who Boston Rob is anyway, but he was kind of explaining, like, this happened to him in Marquesas when he played before, where he had his tribe, when the tribes were in 2, he had his tribe pretty well under his control. It was under his thumb. He was the Rob father, people call him, right? The godfather of the group. He's making all the calls, calling all the shots. Everybody's doing what he says. He's got everybody going in his direction. So he had that, and he had that this season as well, and he had it in Marquesas. And then what ended up happening is they switched the tribes into 3, and then things changed. In Marquesas, he was then gone. He was voted out. I don't know if he was next, but soon after that, that was kind of like the unfolding of his game last time. And again, this time, the tribe he landed in, he wasn't with Parvati, and really Parvati was his only strong ally in this game. I think Tyson he would have liked to have been allied with as well. Tyson was already on a different tribe from him, but also Tyson is already on edge of extinction, so he didn't have that person to reach out to. He's connected to some other people, but who knows how well. Maybe like Sandra, Tony, it seems like Sandra's kind of gunning for Rob. Some people think there's a conspiracy, secret alliance between the 2 of them. We haven't gotten a chance to see if that happened. Lucky for him, he didn't land on that tribe with Sandra, but he also didn't land with Parvati. So he ended up landing with Ben, Adam, Sophie, and Sarah. So Sophie and Sarah were from the Dakal tribe. He, as far as we know, doesn't really have any connection to these 2. And then Adam and Ben is a really interesting dynamic. So last vote out for Sele, so last time it was Dakal that lost, which is why Tyson went home. So Sele didn't really have a ton of airtime last week. But the week before that, when Ethan went home, that was a blindside to both Rob and Adam. So, and we talked about this already in last week's recap, or 2 weeks ago recap, but just to refresh. So Adam thought everyone was voting for Parvati. However, he informed too many people about that intention to blindside Parvati, so Rob came up with an alternative plan to blindside Adam. So Rob, Parvati, and Ethan, who are an alliance of 3, voted for Adam, thinking everyone was voting for Adam, and Adam voted for Parvati, thinking everyone's voting for Parvati. However, there's 4 other members of the tribe, Michelle, Jeremy, Ben, and Denise, and the 4 of them, who are now in a majority, because they're against 4, but one's voting kind of out of out of turn, and then you have 3 voting one way, 1 voting another way. So the 4 of them actually decided to vote Ethan out. So Ben was in on that. So Ben was part of the majority for that, but Adam and Rob both were not. So I did see Rob trying to kind of link with Adam over that shared experience. He said, he and I were left out of that vote when new tribes switched up. So Sarah and Sophie could see there's a ton. Let me show you who these people are. So we have Sarah, and we have Sophie. These 2 came from the Dakal tribe, the red tribe, okay? These 5 people landed on a brand new tribe called Yara, which is the green tribe, which means they also had to build a new shelter. They also have Ben and Adam, okay, who were formerly on Sele. So, of course, Rob's hoping that Sele, they'll stay Sele strong, where it would be Adam, him, and Ben, and they'll vote out the girls. It wasn't clear, if that was going to go the way that they wanted it to go, but let me not get ahead of myself. So the other tribes. So we also had a new blue Sele tribe. Michelle and Parvati stayed on this tribe. So here's Michelle. And here's Parvati. They both stayed on that tribe. And then they had 3 new members come over from Dakal. Now these 3 people are in a close alliance with each other. We have Wendell, which is interesting. They put these 2 next to each other because these 2 used to date. So these are ex-boyfriend and ex-girlfriend on an island together, now on the same tribe. Super awkward, super weird dynamic. It was really fun to watch. And then we have Yule, who's my guy, who I want to win. What's good is that Yule is now on a tribe with someone he's very close with, Wendell, and another person he's quite close with, who is Nick. So these 3 are in a very close alliance from their previous tribe Dakal. So even though they've been switched to another tribe, they're still together and they're in the majority because these tribes only have 5 people on them. So that's a very good thing for the person I want to win, a very good thing for these 3 guys, not as good for the girls. Parvati started looking for some cracks. So she realized that, there's a little bit of awkwardness between Wendell and Michelle, so that's an interesting, probably good crack for her. She talked to Yule. Yule told her that she is his wife's favorite player on Survivor, so she's hoping that she has an in because of that. And then Nick told her that he had a big crush on her in high school. She was like his high school crush. She said it was awkward, but Parvati is very good at playing the flirtation game. That's typically been her strategy in the past. Now, she's now married and has children, so it's a whole different dynamic, but that's kind of how she's gotten her claws in people and how she's gotten through the game. And this actually is shown in her kind of power over men in something that I'll share in just a few minutes towards the end. So in this tribe, the men do have the majority. There's 3 guys, 2 girls. In the previous tribe I just talked about, same thing again, 3 guys, 2 girls, they have the majority. In the red Dakal tribe, the new tribe, the girls actually finally have the majority somewhere. Because remember, the first several people voted out onto Edge of Extinction were female. So we had Natalie, Amber, Danny. So we were like, okay, it's all chicks over there, we're left with 17 people in the game and 3 of the girls are gone. So then it started to even out a little bit. So then we had Ethan, then we had Tyson, and I don't want to spoil it, but we'll see how it worked out after last night, how those numbers may have changed. So then we have the new Dakal tribe, which is Tony. And so we have 3 people remaining from Dakal. So Tony was already on Dakal. Sandra, also on Dakal, and Sandra has previously been quoted saying that Tony is her favorite person. So her and Tony have been together from the beginning. They're now staying together, which is a good thing for them if they are as close as it seems they are. And then the 3rd person who stayed from Dakal is Kim, which is interesting because Kim wasn't really in with these guys. As far as I understand, she was connected to Tyson, who was voted out last time. So Kim's in an interesting position. She can definitely swing any way that she wants at this point. So she's gone from being kind of on the bottom of her tribe to potentially being in quite a strong position of power to control how things go from here on out. If they lose, that's the thing. So if your tribe just keeps winning the immunity challenges, you don't have to worry about who's with who as much. You just want to build a strong alliance with everyone, because if you don't lose, you don't have to vote anyone out. And then you can go into the merge having a nice strong alliance of 5 and potentially anyone else you were connected with previously before when it was 2 tribes. And then we have 2 new people that came over from Sele. So we have Denise, who I love. And we have Jeremy, who I also love. So this is a pretty cool tribe. I love Sandra. I love Denise. I love Jeremy. I like Kim. Kim's pretty cool. It's cool to see Kim in a different element because she was in so much power on her season, and she just kind of dominated the whole season through. So to see her here in a position of not as much power, to see how she's working that is really interesting. Now, what I find most interesting about this tribe, not just that the females are in a majority here, but also that there is a lot of idols and advantages in this tribe. So we have Jeremy with the advantage where he can sit out at tribal council. He doesn't get to vote, but he also can't be voted out. He got that advantage sold to him from Natalie off of the Edge of Extinction. We have Sandra, who was sold an idol, an immunity idol from the Edge of Extinction, also from Natalie, so she has an idol. We have Kim, who has an idol that she found, and we have Denise, who has an idol that she found. So 4 out of 5 of the people on this tribe have, so there's 3 idols on one tribe, 1 advantage, and then Tony's the only one that's sitting there with nothing. He's got nothing. But hopefully his alliance with Sandra will work out well for him. But we'll see. We have to really see. Kim's probably going to be in control of how this is going to go moving forward because she told both Denise and Jeremy that she'd be happy to work with them. She didn't really feel great on her tribe. She also said she has to be careful about what she says. So she's definitely this like swing vote. She's got a lot of power right now, which is exciting to kind of see how that's going to unfold. And I think that's pretty much it. So those are the new tribes: Sile, Yara, and Dakal, blue, green, red, and how they split up. So we have the next scene, which is Kim catching a big ass eel. She caught this huge eel that she said that it was just like swam near her foot, and she just stabbed it and caught it, and it was like, I mean, it was big. It was like this big thing of meat, and they cut it all up and they ate good, and everybody was happy, and it was really awesome to see that. It's always fun when you see a girl be the provider for the tribe like that in terms of food, you know. Then they cut over to the blue tribe, the Sele tribe, which has Wendell and Michelle on it. So they showed Parvati making some of those moves I mentioned, and they also showed this awkward dynamic between Wendell and Michelle, which I don't know the exact details of their relationship, but they dated before. And Michelle expressed that he broke her trust before in real life, and it really hurt her. I believe those are almost verbatim what she said. So my impression is that he cheated on her or lied to her about something at some point. And she even said something about, you know, he was keeping his distance from her during the show. And she said, I shouldn't be surprised because he was like that right from in the beginning of our relationship too, which is weird because in the beginning of your relationship, normally you're very close. So to say he was keeping his distance, it was a little confusing to me. I didn't fully understand what that meant. It seemed, even Parvati said that, you know, Wendell's kind of like this stone wall. Like, he doesn't really open up. He doesn't really talk about himself. And I think that's an indication of intellect. You don't want to give information to your enemies. Parvati is a big target. You don't want to work with Parvati, and you certainly don't want Parvati to know anything about you that she could use to manipulate. She's amazing at using idols. You just want to keep your lips zipped around her. So I think that was a smart move. As long as you're not in the minority, which right now he's not. He's got Nick, he's got Yul, so he doesn't need to suck up to Parvati or butter her up or work for her or anything like that. Hey guy, what's up? We are just talking about Survivor. And I thought Michelle made a really funny comment where she said, you know, right now Wendell's like sending me the "you up" text, and she's saying, "New season, who dis?" That just made me laugh. I thought that was really clever, and that was really kind of seemed like the vibe. Like they had this one conversation. She's like, "Oh, you didn't think you were gonna end up on a tribe with me, did you?" Like, she definitely seems a bit bitter, a bit resentful. And then he was like, "Well, it's not like you wanted me to come right over and start talking to you first thing after the switch, right?" And then she was like. And he was like, "Well, did you?" You know, because I think he's kind of afraid that they're going to be labeled as like a showmance or a threat as a pair, because pairs are often targeted. So he's trying to like distance himself from her in that way, where she doesn't seem to necessarily want that. She might want to rehash some of this stuff. At one point, she said that she's fully capable of separating her personal life from the game and what happened with her and Wendell from the game because she just wants that $2 million. And then she said, "So I'll vote him out if I need to." And I was like, doesn't that mean that you're not separating your personal life from the game? Because this guy broke your trust. You guys broke up. It didn't end well. So separating yourself, that from the game would mean you're willing to work closely with him and help him to get further in the game because you think you could win against him. That would be more what I would expect you to say, not that you would vote him out, because that would, to me, indicate like bitter, resentment, vindictive behavior of an ex-girlfriend. So I didn't really fully understand what she meant by that. But Shara, thank you for the super hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everything changed when a new buff color attacked. Yes, exactly. You have the flu, protect the constitution. Have you ever had a sinus infection on top of the flu? It is not fun. I did have that not that long ago. I got antibiotics to take care of that. And Billy, thank you for liking this video on YouTube. I appreciate that very much. We're live on YouTube and Periscope right now. I go live on Periscope every single day, 7 days a week. All right. Okay, I already said those things. Talked about that. Oh, and then on Yara, they found another idol. So, going back here, Sophie found the idol, and it was one of those trick idols again, which is one of the idols that is, you have to give half of the idol to someone else by sundown or in order for it to be activated. So she chose pretty obvious choice, I would say, which is Sarah, because that's the only person from her original tribe, and the other 3 guys, you know, they're working with Rob, they're a little scary, let's just give it to Sarah. And then Sarah did give her the other half back before they actually went to tribal council, which is great. And now remember, Sarah also has the steal a vote advantage. So on this tribe, we have, oh yeah, I didn't talk about the advantages from the other tribes. So she has the steal a vote advantage, and Sophie now has the idol, which Sarah has, and they kind of agree that they would use these advantages and idols together so they could use them for each other. They kind of view it as like it's their advantages and their idol. On the blue tribe with Wendell, Michelle, Yule, Parvati, and Nick, the tribe we were just talking about, they don't have anything. They don't have idols, they don't have advantages. If I'm remembering everything correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong. They got nothing over there, which is a whole different dynamic over there as well. So she got the idol, and then we had the immunity challenge. So let's start with who came in first with the immunity challenge. We have, oh wait, where am I? Okay, sorry, I was looking at the wrong part. So we had Parvati and Wendell on the puzzle, and they beasted it. They were way behind the Dakal tribe. Was it the Dakal tribe? Are they Dakal now? I gotta remember who's who now. No, they are now Sele. Yeah, they're now Sele. So, oh, and I didn't actually write this down, but I wanted to share this as well, that Wendell is a furniture maker. So he builds these really cool shelters in Survivor. And when people that were on Sele before came over to the Dakal tribe, where Wendell had built this like luxury mansion shelter, they were like, oh my God, this is so much better. This is amazing. They loved it so much. And then Wendell had to leave his amazing shelter and go over to the Dakal tribe. And he was like, wow, this place needs some work. Yeah, we got to work on this. And they were all kind of like, oh, you know, be my guest, make everything better, which was funny. So they were behind. They were way behind on getting through the obstacle, and I forget, they had to like go through an obstacle, and then they had to get up and over a wall. So to go through this obstacle was like an up and over kind of thing, and then they had to go up and over this wall. So they were the slowest. They got to the puzzle last, but they finished the puzzle first, which was really impressive. That's the name of this channel, Maddie. And then we have second place, which was, let me make sure I have this all written right. Yes, Sandra and Jeremy. These two were working together on the puzzle, and they came in second place. What was interesting, most interesting about this to me, was that Sophie and Adam were working on the puzzle for Yara. Was it Yara? No. Sophie and Adam were working on, we're working on the puzzle for Yara, and they had the longest time working on the puzzle, and they came in last, which means they didn't get immunity, so their tribe lost. But they were working on the puzzle longer than anyone else, and it did not seem like Sophie and Adam were working well together. What was surprising to me was that it wasn't Sophie and Rob, because to me those are the puzzle people on that tribe. It should have been Sophie and Rob. Adam didn't seem to really be getting it. You know, Sophie was like kind of yelling. She's like, no, that doesn't work. No, we can't do it like that. Rob's like telling them, turn it this way. You know, he's like, seems calm. I really think Rob should have been on that puzzle instead of Adam. Sorry, Adam. love you, but it didn't really matter because I actually like the way that tribal council worked out, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. So here's where the buddy system on steroids title of the episode came into play. My Instagram is the same username, NextJuice, NEXJuice, JUICE. You can find the links to all my social media at the link in my profile, nextjuice.com. It's at the top. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and my email is there. I have a Discord. Go to the contact page. Everything is there. So Rob wanted everyone on the buddy system, which was on steroids, because he wanted every single one of the 5 of them to stay in camp together. And they showed this like montage of everyone just being like, they were frustrated. No one really wanted to stay there. They were talking about how his energy is really negative. He's very controlling. He's always wanted to be in complete control of the game. So it really backfired on him. However, I don't think there was any good way for this to have gone for Rob. Whether he did the buddy system on steroids or not, I don't think that he had a chance in hell to survive this tribal council, if I'm honest with you guys. So he made everyone stay in camp the whole time, and it seems like they pretty much did do that. There was a couple, you got to see Jeremy kind of mouthing, it's Rob, to someone. You couldn't see who that was even to. But all in all, it was pretty boring. Nobody got to strategize. They were all kind of frustrated about it. They didn't love it. They were contemplating using the steal a vote advantage, because if they had used the steal a vote, they would have had the majority, and then they could have gotten Rob out, and they wouldn't have needed either Adam or Ben to come to their side, talking about Sarah and Sophie, the 2 girls. But instead, they kind of were like, forget it. Let's just trust that at least Adam or Ben are going to come over to our side, hopefully both, and ultimately that is what transpired. Both boys flipped, and Rob was the one who ended up going home. So Rob got voted out last night, which I was so happy about. You can watch my replay. I watched live on Periscope last night. I only get to do that every other week. I can do a live watch along with you guys at 8 p.m. Eastern time when the show airs. I was like, yeah! I was so happy. I have been wanting Rob to get out from the very beginning. I was shocked that they weren't voting him out on the Sele tribe. This tribe swap is exactly what we needed to stop being idiot sandwiches and get Rob off of the island over to the edge of extinction. Michael. Why are you on here all the time? I'm on every single day, 7 days a week for 3 hours a day, because I'm trying to help people to feel more positive and also connect with people who are feeling disconnected around the world, to help people with depression, suicidal tendencies, things that I used to struggle with myself. I just totally ruined it for Michael. She came in, she muted me so that she wouldn't hear what I was saying, and then I just showed her who got voted off. Don't come in here if you don't want spoilers. Loves Dogs thinks Sandra needs to go. I mean, I struggle with that. I'm surprised Sandra's still there as well. However, Sandra's not a threat. She's, as far as I know, never won an individual immunity. And with this type of a jury, I don't think that they're going to give Sandra the win if she continues to use the same strategy she used before. Now, she did catch those fish that one time, so she said she's trying to work more around camp, be more of a provider, do more so that she's not just viewed as this like person that just kind of skirts along. Her social game is very strong. She's very good at this game in a way that I didn't even really realize or appreciate before this season. She's very impressive. Now, I also love Sandra. I love her energy. I love how she like is listening to Tyson. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, we got to get Nick out. All right, cool. And then, to the confessional, she's like, yeah, I'm just saying to him, oh, damn, really? Oh, okay, yeah. But the whole time she's like, nah, I'm voting you out. You came for me, I'm coming for you. It's over and done with. So I like her energy a lot more than I liked Rob's. Rob was being way too aggressive, way too intimidating, way too serious, way too grumpy and angry old man kind of energy. It wasn't fun to watch. It wasn't fun to see them all feeling weird about it. Like, it just kind of, he's lost his touch that he used to have. I thought it was awesome. He was catapulting the people over that rolling cylinder, that first challenge, or second challenge. I think it was the second challenge. It was the 2-hour episode that first night. And that was cool. It was cool to see that he's still strong, even though he's like gained a lot of weight. But, he just kind of seems a little bitter and just not as fun to watch. And he was my favorite Survivor contestant ever prior to this season. This time I thought he didn't really play it well. I don't know how else he could have played it. I can't really judge him, but I was ready for him to go. So I'm really glad that he went. And maybe, mean. Yeah, I could be I could be okay with Sandra going. The only thing with Sandra is that if she doesn't win, then someone else now ties her and holds that title for having won Survivor twice. I think it's really cool that she's the only person to ever win Survivor twice before, and she plans to retire after this season. So it'd be really cool if she won 3 times and then was gone. But I mean, I just highly doubt that that's the way it's going to work out. I'm not sure that the jury is going to give a win to Sandra at the end. Thanks, Chill Fun. I like to see your face too. Planet Fitness commercial. I don't think so, Fly J. I don't think I was not knowingly in any Planet Fitness commercial, so probably not. All right. So happy that he went. He needed to go. So happy. They didn't show any clips from Edge of Extinction. I did not like that. I really enjoy seeing what's going on in Edge of Extinction, especially Natalie. I love Natalie. She's probably... I really want Yule to win, but if Natalie won, I'd be okay with it. So we'll see kind of which way that goes. No, I don't think it was me. That's funny. Maybe it's my twin. My doppelganger. So I wish that we got to see a little of Edge of Extinction, but whatever. At least Rob's going there now. He could be with his friend Ethan and Tyson and his wife and have a grand old time over there. Now... here's where Parvati comes back into play. So I said Parvati is good at kind of manipulating men and getting men to kind of do her bidding and to be attached to her and to want to support her and work with her. And we saw that because Rob had 2 fire tokens because Amber gave him her fire token when she left. So when you get voted off to the Edge of Extinction, you have to give up any fire tokens you have. So she gave her fire token to him, so he had 2 fire tokens. He had to give both of them away. He gave them to Parvati, which I knew was going to happen, but fine. Now Parvati has 4 fire tokens because she also got one from Ethan when Ethan got voted out. So 2 guys have given her 3 fire tokens, so she now has 4 fire tokens just by simply like aligning with these guys and being friends with them and kind of having that little bit of power with them and a little bit of pull with them. Now what was... really interesting about that is that Natalie was the richest player in the game. She had 4 fire tokens as of last episode, and now Parvati does. So the 2 richest people on the islands, one on Edge of Extinction and one on the main island, are both females. One's Natalie on Edge of Extinction and one is Parvati. Now Parvati has been given all of her fire tokens. Natalie has earned every single one of her fire tokens one by one by doing different challenges and things on the Edge of Extinction, which has been really, really impressive and really fun to watch, which is why I was a little bummed we didn't get any Edge of Extinction footage last night, but there was the tribe swap, so I guess that's probably why. So we have Parvati and Natalie with 4. Nick and Denise both have 2, so you're given 1 when you start. Nick got 1 from Tyson last week, and then Denise got hers from Danny a few weeks ago. Tyson and Rob have 0 because they've both been voted out, and they didn't get to compete in that but the log carrying challenge to get any, so they both have 0. And then Sandra and Sarah both have 0 because they both bought advantages from Natalie. So 2 of Natalie's tokens, actually one is Sarah's and one is Sandra's, that they paid to her to get the advantage and to get the idol. So that's pretty cool. She also has 1 from Jeremy, which is why Jeremy now she gave Jeremy 1 when she was voted out, Natalie did, and then she sold him an advantage, so he's back to 1. So everyone I didn't mention all have 1. So again, Parvati and Natalie have 4, Nick and Denise have 2, Tyson, Sandra, Sarah, and Rob have 0, and everyone else in the game has 1. And that's where we ended. Last night's episode, the buddy system on steroids, episode 5 of Survivor, season 40, Winners at War. Gary, thank you for those super hearts. You'd be under her spell on the island, yeah. You still don't get the tokens yet. Well, they can buy idols, they can buy advantages, they can buy food, drinks, they can buy a tarp, I think, fishing gear. They can buy stuff to help them. Which guys voted Rob out? Everybody. So it was Adam, Ben, Sophie, and Sarah. Everyone on his tribe. They got split into smaller tribes last night, so it's just a tribe of 5. All 4 of them voted him out as a blindside. Although, it was a blindside, but I think that it didn't even have to be. He doesn't have anything. If he had an idol, my guess is he probably would have used it last night. I mean, he wasn't going to survive. There was no way to survive that tribal. I mean, he was the obvious target, so. Hi, Mark. They haven't bought anything with the tokens yet. Not that I'm aware of, no. Nobody's bought anything with the tokens yet, from what I can tell. And it gives an interesting new element to Edge of Extinction, because I'm excited to see Amber and Rob reconnected on Edge of Extinction. But some people think maybe that Amber and Rob will just put the flag up and leave and just be like, screw it, let's just get out of here, let's go back to our family back home. But they don't really strike me as the quitting type. If you remember that final challenge that they had in their season where they met and they both had to keep their hand on the thing, they were both just like standing there waiting. They both knew they were going to take each other to the final two, but neither wanted to give up. They didn't want to go out like that. So they both just like held on, and Rob ended up ultimately winning that challenge. So, I mean, I think that Rob, Tyson, and Natalie probably have the best bet at winning their way back in through the challenge, but Natalie has the extra advantage of having enough tokens to buy an advantage in that challenge, which will give her, hopefully, enough of an advantage that she needs to get back in, because I would rather her be back in the game than anybody else on Edge of Extinction right now. They're all cool, they're all impressive, of course, but I want Natalie back in the game, especially because she was first voted out, and on her season that she won, her sister was the first one voted out, and then she ended up winning the game. So it'd be pretty cool if she was the first person voted out and then still won the game. That would be very impressive, but I still want Yule to win, so I have mixed feelings. Yeah, but nothing's been nothing's been purchased with the tokens just yet. Hi, Robertson. That's what I was going to say. So before anybody quits, I would assume they would buy something. So like before they give up and surrender, they might just be like, oh, let's just get like a bottle of wine. You know, let's get some beer. Let's get some pizza. Let's see if we can have some of this and just kind of hang out and stick around and see what happens. You know, if you only have one fire token, you can't really buy anything but that anyway, so. Would I want to play on the show? I don't have a whole lot of confidence in my ability to win. So, I mean, I think it would be quite the experience. Like, it would be pretty cool to have been on Survivor. I think that would also help with me doing shows like this. I think it would get me into a network that I would enjoy being in, as well as building my network and my following and my audience in terms of live streaming. So, I think it would benefit me. I don't know that I would win. But if they wanted me to go on, I would. I got dared to apply to be on the show, so I did actually apply, but I'm not sure that that's going to go very far or bring me in. Hey, Scotty, thanks for the super hearts. Hey, Midnight. Yeah, so there's that. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this recap of Episode 5 for Season 40, Winners at War, Survivor, the Buddy System on Steroids. If you missed it, you can watch my live watch-along replay from last night on Periscope. My wife said she would want to, but then admits she'd volunteer to leave first. Yeah, I don't think I would do that, but it's hard to know because not eating is very challenging. But I'm very small, so I'm only 5'1", and I weigh about 104 pounds. So it would be, most of those challenges would be very difficult for me. Me not eating, I would become basically like skin and bones. I would be very weak. I mean, I get weak right now and feel like I'm going to faint if I don't eat right now, and I'm like in a temperature regulated house with beds and water and food and stuff. So Ethan did say that he was given a tablet of sugar and water when he almost passed out during last week on the Edge of Extinction when the medical team went to him, and he said that he was really frustrated, and he's like, well, if you're giving me this stuff, everybody should get this stuff because that's only fair to keep the competition fair. And he looks back on that now and he's like, I don't want it to be fair. I want to win, and I want the advantage, so I should just take whatever advantages I can get and just be like, well, too bad for them. But because I had mentioned that, I was like, I wasn't sure if they gave him some kind of fluids or food or anything like that to help him, and he said that they gave him like 1 or 2 sugar tablets, and then, because he actually did pass out, I think. He actually did like faint. They didn't show all that for some reason, but yeah, I am tiny. You're here for one reason, Midnight, and what's that? He had to have been given something more than just a rest. Yep, he was. Hey, Sean. That's right. Midnight, don't ask me questions like that. I'll just say thank you very much. Thank you very much. Me and Ed were like, afterwards we're like, oh my God, thank Midnight. Hey, Sean, what's up? Yeah. I may or may not have texted a couple of my girlfriends and told them that Fruit Roll-Ups would change their life. Okay, I'm gonna go now. I can feel my face getting red. This has been A Moment in Time with Taylor. I hope to see you guys on the next juice. Please subscribe and follow me. Hey, Kyle, my day is going good. I hope yours is too. Your cash app. Love you guys. Hope to see you next time. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do for my broadcast later tonight, but stay tuned. I hope to see you there. Bye, love dogs. Bye, guys. This way or this way? I feel like I like to have my bookshelf, but Periscope always cuts off half of my stuff. I'll go like this. Okay, bye. That's not the right button. Okay, this button.